Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Deltana number TSRCA275. This is a T-strike. It's what they call a solid brass T-strike. It's non-magnetic thoroughly, so yeah, we're going to go with solid brass. It's a T-strike. If you use your imagination, you can see why they would call it a T-strike. This is a strike that would be used for the RCA style roller latch. So it's not a typical T-strike for a latch or a lock. It would be for a roller latch. And this would be very common. This type of strike would be common to see with that RCA style roller latch when you have a pair of doors and you have roller latches installed in the header, or maybe you have a single door and you have a roller latch installed with some sort of an edge pole or door pulls, flush pulls, things of that nature. A T-strike generally means that it is 2 3/4 tall, even though 2 3/4, even though a 4 7/8 ASA strike kind of looks like a T-strike if you turn it on its end as well. Overall width of this strike is about 1 inch and, 13/16. That's not the dimension though. The dimension is from the center line of the screw holes to the edge of the lip. And it's about 1 1/4 inches, maybe 1 5/16. And that's the true size of this, about 1 1/4 inches. That's how all strikes are measured, from the center of that hole to the edge of the lip. Now, it's important to know that so that you can understand whether or not the strike lip length will be compatible with your application. 1 1/4 inches is the Swiss Army knife of lip lengths. It works for practically everything. However, it doesn't work for everything. You might have an unusually deep inset. The door might be inset into the frame rather than a typical flush, meaning if you ran your hand over the face of the door in the jamb, the door is flush. Well, or it can be about 3/32 of an inch, just moved in a little bit. Well, what if that dimension was 1/2 of an inch? Okay, now all of a sudden a standard lip length doesn't really work, because you'll get into trouble with the strike lip hitting the jamb, etc. So whatever the case might be mindful that the calculation of lip length is important. Although, admittedly, all of what I just said might be severely overthinking it. This is the standard strike for almost all applications. And you'll know if you need a longer lip because your hardware will be prematurely hitting the case work, the trim, the mill work, the molding, the casing, or the jamb itself. Okay, this will include a couple of screws for installing it. This is in the US 10B or oil rubbed bronze finish. Let's switch now to the screen view and take a closer look at the supporting information. Here is the item that we are looking at. Cut sheet for this strike only. There it is. Shows you all the dimensional properties beyond what we've discussed. Again, the fact that it's 1 3/4 inches isn't really that important. And according to this, yeah, you're dealing with a 1 5/16 lip length. Now, this is available in lots of finishes: polished brass, lifetime brass, antique brass, oil rub bronze, satin nickel, antique nickel, polished chrome, and satin chrome. That's all handy, but let's take a look at the roller latch that this goes with. And here it is. It's the RCA430. That would be the roller latch that this is used with. And the point is that the standard RCA30 comes with this full lip strike, or D strike. If you use your imagination, you can see why we would call it that, even though it's really not a full lip strike. If you have an RCA430 or you have a roller latch that looks like this very common generic design, your TSRCA275 is going to work out just well for you. Let's see if there's any other matching parts for this. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's also going to be an ANSI strike or an ASA strike or a 4 7/8 strike. It's exactly that, 4 7/8. So for these RCA430s, you can do the standard full lip strike that I just showed you in that image that would come with the unit, or you can do the 2 3/4, or you can do the 4 7/8. And if you want these other strikes, you'll just add them as a separate line item. Okay, it's a pretty handy way to go through what we're looking at here. Now, below this video here is a link to the manufacturer's page from which you can review not only all of the Deltana products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the product catalog. The product catalog is nice, but I have to tell you, the website itself, for me, is an easier way to navigate their product line. I understand their categories here, and as a result, I lean on this as the quick, easy way to find stuff. Miscellaneous, strike plates. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Then you have the SPRCA430. That's the full lip version. That would be a dimple. So all three of our strikes are literally here, here, and here. Pretty easy way to go through it. They've done a good job at representing this material. Down here they'll show available finishes as well. Okay, let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, the name Deltana is pretty synonymous with good quality imported builder's hardware, generally made of solid brass. I'm a fan of Deltanas in the sense that they keep it simple, no nonsense, and straightforward. The people that work there are generally quite knowledgeable, most certainly in how to navigate their own systems, check pricing, check lead times, give you ideas and updates of that sort of nature. To say that they're hardware experts would be a stretch. Generally, what you'll find in companies like Deltana that are, quite frankly, importers of Asian manufactured hardware, is that they don't really, if you asked how do you install a Dutch door quadrant, that would be beyond them. Usually, that's what I find. However, the quantity of calls, how do you install a Dutch door quadrant, don't really happen that often. But what they do have is a really nice quality product. I would not hesitate to use their material personally. I'm sure that I have at some point, and nor would I hesitate to suggest that you consider their product line as well. The material's clean, the fit and finish is good, they answer their phone when it rings, that sort of stuff. So they're a stand-up company in that regard, and that's not the rule when it comes to companies who import finished builder's hardware from overseas. They do a good job in the customer service department, and others are not as good, and that's the bottom line. Any questions on the TSRCA234 and a US 10B or any other Deltana product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.